Okay. Okay. This should be working, I think. All right. I have no idea if anyone's watching or anything like that, but we'll see what happens. And I have no idea how choppy this is going to be. I'm going to have to wait and see what happens after I'm done recording this. Maybe nothing good will come of this and I'll have to record it twice. But anyway, we are talking about poetry this unit. A couple of things that I want to talk about before I get into the lecture. I'm moving the course to Canvas. There are... Hi, Peter. There are a couple of better ways that I can use Canvas, including like discussion boards, peer reviews. It's just better for me to do online courses that way. Google Classroom was better for when we were actually at the school, and it's just not gonna do it for us anymore. So we're gonna move to Canvas. It's already published there. Someone has already submitted stuff, so I know that it's live and I know that you can access it. If you're having a hard time with it, text me or email me or whatever, and we'll get it figured out. You guys have 2 journals this week. You have a discussion board and you have a quiz based off of this lecture. So you have to watch this lecture and then you got to take that quiz. It's like 5 questions and it should be pretty straightforward if you watch it. You're also welcome to take notes during the lecture. That's fine. I don't know what you want to do. It's your life, you know. I don't care if you take notes or not. But just like, you know, it is in class, pay attention. I'm not doing this for fun. For me, it's actually very stressful because I'd never done this before. So we'll see if it works. I have no idea if it's working. If it's working, maybe let me know in the chat because I can see the chat. But anyway, so we're talking about poetry. And the first thing I want to talk about is what poetry even is, because a lot of us are like, poetry is just lines. You hit enter a bunch of times in a paragraph and that's poetry. And that's not necessarily true. So I went on and Googled the Wikipedia definition to see what Wikipedia said. And Wikipedia said this right here, which is poetry is a form of literature that uses aesthetic and often rhythmic qualities of language, such as these big long words, to evoke meanings in addition to or in place of prosaic ostensible meanings. That definition is a nightmare. So instead, we're going to use the definition that my poetry professor used when I took poetry in college, which was you're going to give words meaning beyond their own meaning. So with poetry, we are taking words and we're giving them more than one meaning, basically. And I have a couple good examples of this that we're going to talk about. First is this poem from a Greek poet named Sappho. So Sappho wrote this poem. It's all of her stuff was in fragments and all of her stuff was in Greek. And so there's a couple different translations. This is one of my favorite translations. But the translation is, "It's no use, mother dear, I can't finish my weaving. You may blame Aphrodite, soft as she has almost killed me with love for that boy." So this poem, we're not only talking about chores, but we're also talking about the emotions and why we can't do the chores. And so Sappho has taken these words and given them meaning beyond their meaning. This happens a lot in music as well. So if we look at musical lyrics, we can find that they have meaning beyond their meaning. That's the whole... I'm going to repeat this a ton of times because I keep seeing people join the live stream. Poetry is meaning beyond its meaning. We're not just talking about, in this case, weaving. We're talking about how the narrator is so overcome with love that they can't do their chores. I like this poem because it reminds me of being a teenager and it just makes me laugh. But anyway, here are some lyrics that I wanted to use that I think have poetic value. In other words, that they have meaning beyond their meaning. The first one right here, this is a line from a poem called The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot. And the line is, I grow old, I shall wear the bottoms of my trousers rolled. And this is not just about, I'm going to get old and then eventually I'll roll my pants up. He's talking about the futile, how do I describe this? Lecturing from my house is weird. He's talking about the feeling of hopelessness and the inevitability of aging and how eventually he becomes unfashionable, right? You've all seen people with their pants rolled up and it kind of looks dorky, or at least it did when I was a kid. And so T.S. Eliot here is talking about how he can't help the fact that he's going to get older It's inevitable. He might as well accept it. And one day he's going to be a dorky old person and not going to like it anymore. This line right here, you call me up again just to break me like a promise. This is a Taylor Swift line. I have a text. Anyway, this is from a Taylor Swift song. You call me up again just to break me like a promise. So this is not just about you called me again, because the person who calls Taylor Swift is not actually going to like snap her in half. Breaking is figurative, right? Breaking her as in breaking her heart or making her emotional. And the double meaning here with breaking like a promise. So the person has broken promises and they're breaking Taylor as if they're being casual about their relationship and casual about their promises as well. The other thing there is that we've got meaning beyond the meaning. I'm struggling. Can you tell? I will probably re-record this and post it later. Another one here is the spaces between my fingers are right where yours fit perfectly. Again, we're giving words the meaning beyond their meaning. Hi, Morgan. I'm glad that you found it. Hi, Lance. So the spaces between my fingers are right where yours fit perfectly. That is a line from a song called Vanilla Twilight by Owl City, which is the same band that does the You Would Not Believe Your Eyes, the Firefly song, which is big on TikTok right now because people have just made an edit where he says you would not believe your eyes over and over and over again. But anyway, this song, I liked it a lot when I was in high school. A lot of the music that we're going to bring up was stuff that I liked in high school. And this right here, the spaces between my fingers are right where yours fit perfectly. He's not talking about physical, like, oh, look, we can hold hands and our hands are perfect. He's talking about the metaphorical connection as well between two people who are in love. And so this is what poetry is. We're taking words and we're giving them more than one meaning. So if you were not here, which a lot of you weren't, I'm going to go back really fast and I'm just going to show you right here. According to my poetry professor, and this is the definition I like, poetry is giving words meaning beyond their meaning. That's all that poetry is. And so when we talk about poetry this unit, I don't want you guys to feel like it's something terrible and scary and awful and horrible. It's that we are we're talking about words that just have more than one meaning. That's it. That's all that poetry is. So we study poetry for a couple of different reasons. The first reason we study poetry is because it helps us understand ourselves. Poetry is all about communicating emotion. All of it is about communicating emotion. And so if we can read poetry and say, oh, I relate to that. I've felt that way before. That's fantastic. If we can read poetry and go, oh, yeah, I know what that feels like because I've been there before. That's the goal of poetry. That's one of the goals of poetry, is to be able to connect our emotions to something and be able to put emotions into words, which can be pretty hard sometimes. Another thing is it helps us understand other people. So if we can have more than one person connect to a poem or often to a song, you guys might have felt in your life like, oh, we both really like this one song or this one band or this one artist. That's a really good thing. It helps you connect emotionally with that person. And when we study poetry, we're going to get better at communicating. We're going to get better at sharing our feelings and sharing what we think and feel, and that's good. So I'm not making you study poetry because I'm a cruel English teacher. I'm making you do it because it's useful. It is actually good for you and useful for you to study poetry. So those are the three reasons that I'm going to give. Helps us understand other people, ourselves, and communicate better. All right, so let's talk about music a little bit. So poetry and music are the same thing. Lyrics are poetry and music is poetry, and they're the same thing. Now, not all poetry is gonna be great, and neither is all music. I don't think that every single song or set of song lyrics has the same artistic merit. The example I have used in the past and that I'm using again because he came out with another song and it's perfect is Justin Bieber. Some of his music is really good. I think that the song Love Yourself has artistic merit. I think that it has meaning beyond its meaning. I think that it's a good song. I think that we could count it as poetry. However, the song Yummy, not so much. The lyrics there are just not very deep. And so, I don't really feel like Justin Bieber is always going to have poetic music, but Sometimes you will and sometimes you won't. And so sometimes as we're talking about music, I want you guys to realize not every song has artistic merit. Not every song I would consider poetry, but some of it, yes. And we're going to have a discussion about this online this week. So this is what your assignment is. This is what you're going to do. There's a discussion board on Canvas. So first of all, it's jsd.instructure.com. You sign in with your email, your student email, and then you sign in with your student number plus the letters JSD. If you have already signed up for Canvas at some point this year, if you're using it for a different class, you're good. It's already there. I've published it. It's Mosquito Language Arts. And so you can go in there and you can access that, and you'll see the very top module is Poetry Week 1, and there's the discussion board. And what you're going to do is you're going to choose a song that you think has artistic or poetic merit. Probably don't choose Justin Bieber's Yummy, since I just told you that that's a horrible song. Anyway, but you're going to choose that, and you're going to say, I chose this song by this artist. Here are a couple of lines from the song, and here's an explanation as to why I think these lines show that this has poetic or artistic merit. I've done an example so that you can see my example. I did the song Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles, so that you can go on there and take a look at that and see what it is. And your job is to post that by Wednesday. So Wednesday at midnight, you need to have your initial post. I want you to also make sure you're not double posting. So go through your classmates, make sure that the song you're posting hasn't already been done. Then what you're going to do by Friday, I might extend this to Saturday. Let's say Saturday. By Saturday, you need to go on and reply to 2 other posts in that discussion board and say, I listened to the song and here are 2 other lines and why I think they have artistic merit. And they need to be different lines than what that person posted. So you're going to be commenting on other people's discussion posts. You also need to make sure you're not repeating anything from previous discussion posts. It needs to be original. This is a graded discussion. I'm going to be giving you guys points for doing this. It's just as a way for us to kind of get introduced to the idea of music as poetry. That's it. That's what we're doing. That's all we need. And that's one of your only assignments this week. You're also going to take a quiz based off of this lecture. If you've paid attention, you'll pass it. You can even do it open note. All of our quizzes are going to be open note from here on out on Canvas. And that's it. That's the entire lecture. It took me 12 minutes, even though it was bad a lot of the time. A couple of things I want to mention to you guys. One, I miss you so much. I'm really having a hard time being quarantined. I don't enjoy it at all. I desperately wish we could go back to the classroom. And at this point, it will be at least a month. Who knows if we'll go on longer. And so for what we're going to be doing on Canvas, I want you guys to know I'm trying to keep it low key. I'm trying to keep it calm. I'm trying to keep it so that you could do everything in like an hour or 2 or something like that. And we're trying to just keep it simple. That's all. The other thing is, don't be afraid to email me and reach out. Sometimes I don't respond because I'm trying to keep myself to more normal office hours because I want to like have a good time in my life. I'm not going to respond to your email at 6:00 at night. That's after office hours for me, but I will star it and respond to it the next day. You still have journals. You're only gonna have 2 journals a week. I'm doing everything weekly. I'm not really following the AB schedule. You're welcome to continue to follow the AB schedule, but everything for my class will be like, this stuff is due Wednesday and this stuff is due Friday, and that's the whole week. And that way we're not overwhelming you guys. I don't want to overwhelm you guys too much. I know how hard this can be at first. I've done online classes, and I know that they were difficult for me as a college student. I can't imagine how I would have done as a high school student. Another thing, I might try and set up some conferencing where you guys could have video chats with me. I'm not there yet. I don't even know what's going on with that. I have chemistry stuff still that I've got to take care of as well. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead. I think I'm going to end this lecture here. I see a couple of you guys in the chat. Anyone have questions? Or are we good? Thank you, Morgan. Okay, I'm going to assume no one has questions. As always, Remind is a great way to reach out to me. I turned notifications off because it was irritating me, but I do check it every day, multiple times a day to make sure I still get the number in the corner. Yeah, I just miss you guys a lot. I was honestly sad enough that I cried when they canceled school for the next month. So anyway, love you guys. I'm going to go ahead and end this. You're all great. I miss you all. And I hope you're having a wonderful time and a safe time in quarantine. Anyway, have a good day.